distinguished guests, respected faculty members, and dear students. On behalf of the School of Business and Management, I extend a warm welcome to each and everyone present here. We have gathered here for an enlightening and inspiring guest talk on the topic Changing World Order and Emerging Opportunities, led by our guest speaker, Professor Atul Chandrakant Kulkarni, to understand the dynamic shifts reshaping our global landscape and explore the new opportunities these changes present. Prayer is universal practice and transcends religious and cultural boundaries. Before we commence this session, let us take the moment to pause, reflect, and connect with a sense of purpose, unity, and spirituality through prayer. I now request Mr. Johan to lead us into prayer. I request you all to stand.
God will make a way when there seems to be no way. He works in ways we cannot see. He will make a way for me. He will be my guide. Hold me closely to His side. With love and strength for each new day, He will make a way. He will make a way. By a roadway in the wilderness, He leads me. Rivers in the desert will I see. And heaven and earth will fail, but His word will still remain. And He will do something new today. Oh, God will make a way when there seems to be no way. He works in ways we cannot see. He will make a way for me. He will be my guide. Hold me closely to His side. With love and strength for each new day, He will make a way. He will make a way.
Thank you, Mr. Johan. It is my honor to now request the convener of the program, Ms. Prima Tarao, to escort our esteemed dignitaries to the dais. A formal gathering is incomplete without a heartfelt welcome. To extend this, I invite Mr. Anson to deliver the welcome address.
The world is changing faster than ever before. Those who adopt will thrive, and those who don't will be left behind. A very good morning to one and all gathered here. It is our distinct pleasure to welcome you all to this enlightening talk on the changing world and emerging opportunities. St. Aloysius, deemed to be University School of Business and Management, is honored to host this event here. I would like to extend a warm welcome to our esteemed guests who have graced us with their presence today. It is an honor to have amongst us Professor Atul Chandrakant Kulkarni, the Director of Eurasia Special Technologies Private Limited and the Chairman of Amazing Namaste Foundation as our resource person for today's talk. We are sure that your experience and guidance will make this session a fruitful one. A cordial welcome to you, sir. I request Dr. Ronald Nazareth to offer a green welcome to our resource person. Thank you, sir. It is a great honor to welcome Dr. Ronald Nazareth, the Registrar of St. Aloysius, deemed to be University. Your guidance and mentorship have been invaluable to the growth and development of our university. A warm welcome to you, sir. It is our distinct pleasure to welcome Dr. Alvin Desa, the Registrar of St. Aloysius Autonomous Institution, who is also a pillar of strength for our institution. Your dedication and commitment to excellence have made a significant impact to organize this event today. A cordial welcome to you, sir. With great privilege, I take this opportunity to welcome the Director of Arupe Block, Dr. Dennis Fernandez, who is a visionary leader encouraging and supporting our events. Your enthusiasm and passion for organizing educational sessions have been instrumental in making this talk a reality today. Hearty welcome to you, dear sir. It is our deep gratitude to welcome the coordinator of this event, Ms. Prima Tauro, and all the staff members who have meticulously planned and accompanied the students in organizing this event. Your hard work and dedication have made this talk possible. A warm welcome to all our dear staff members. At last but not least, I would like to welcome all my friends from School of Business and Management who are eagerly awaiting to gain valuable insights from today's talk. Thank you once again for joining us. I'm confident that this event will provide us with a deeper understanding of the evolving world and the opportunities it presents. A cheerful welcome to you all. Please enjoy the talk.
Thank you, Anson, for your warm and eloquent words. A warm welcome to you too. It is now my privilege to introduce our distinguished speaker for the day, Professor Atul Chandrakant Kulkarni. Professor Kulkarni is a seasoned management and strategy consultant with a specialized focus on the maritime industry. His journey, spanning over 3 decades, is a testament to his profound expertise in infrastructure, project planning, and operational strategy. With a master's degree in management studies, Professor Kulkarni has been instrumental in advising both domestic and international clients. His leadership extends beyond corporate boundaries, as he is actively involved in various national initiatives for skill development, youth empowerment, and national integration, particularly in the northeast region of India. As the Director of Eurasia Special Technologies Private Limited and the Chairman of the amazing Namaste Foundation, his contribution to promoting entrepreneurship and cultural identity have left an indelible mark on society. We are indeed privileged to have him with us today to share his insights on the evolving global order and opportunities that arise from these transformations. I now request Professor Kulkarni to share his valuable insights. I request all the other dignitaries to be seated amongst the audience.
Very good morning to all of you here. Just to keep the track of the time, because I know you students are used to 35-minute, 40-minute lectures, and beyond that, the attention goes away. And it's going to be interactive. It's not a lecture in that sense. And by the way, I am on the board of IIM Shillong, where this, since last 2 years, we have introduced a new practice where in our institute, IIM, which all of you know probably is an institution of national importance and a premier institute, we have stopped conducting lectures. There are no lectures delivered by the faculty in our institute. What we have started is we give the syllabus for the semester, then we give syllabus for the month, we give syllabus for the week, and then the students are supposed to go to the library, read the reference books. By the way, we have stopped issuing the books also. There are no physical books because sustainability is today the buzzword, and we are in the northeast, which probably epitomizes the sustainable living even today as we see the 21st century. So we have stopped issuing physical books. There are no physical books. It's all digital. Students are supposed to go to the library, study, read the reference material, reference books, come to the class. If there is any concept, any theory, anything that you have not understood, you are supposed to pose that question to your colleagues, and any of your colleague can come and clarify, can explain you what is the fundamental, what is the concept, what is the theory, etc., etc. And if the entire class fails to find an answer to the problem or the question that is raised, then only the faculty comes and, gives the explanation. And this we did because we realized that all of you are super intellectual these days, thanks to your entire ecosystem and also the Google auntie. I mean, I'm sure some of the faculty members have this challenge that while you are taking the class, some of them are actually on Google verifying whether what you are teaching is right or wrong. Okay. On a lighter note, I mean, this is the way, our topic is changing world order and opportunities. And all of that I'm going to speak here today are actually building opportunities for you. Okay. While it may sound little bit geopolitics, little bit of, not so relevant in terms of education, but since we are all students of management and business, it is our duty to understand how this will lead to opportunities, how this will create opportunities for each one of us. Okay? And that is why it is important for us to understand how and where the world is today moving, what is happening globally. So this kind of initiative at the B schools is very, very important, because whatever you learn as a principle, as a theory, or as a concept, ultimately needs to be applied in society, in your future career. Next 25, 30 years belong to you, as the world today is seeing that this is going to be the century of Asia. The Honorable Prime Minister is talking about the Amrit Kal, which means another 20, 25 years belong to you. And why is it so? Because we are the youngest nation on this earth today. While we all talk about the demographic dividend, it is also essential to understand that it is not just the number, it is not just the age, it is also the capability and the creativity of Indians, which is globally getting recognized. It's not just that we are young. It is the ability which is time tested now. For last 20, 30 years, the world has seen that Indian diaspora across the world has performed. And across the sector it has performed. It is not just IT. Just to give you an example, a young girl from a small town, small village in Mizoram called Rebecca Garcia is today leading the global procurement for the world's largest trading company in metals and minerals. This company is Australia-based, called BHP Resources, and she is the global head for procurement of BHP resources based out of Chile, Santiago. So it does not matter where you are today. What is important is we have to see what is globally an opportunity for us. And for that, we need to understand how the world is shaping. Gone are the days when we could sit back and say that, okay, there is enough opportunity in this country, why should I bother? Today, the humanity requires us. It is not that there are opportunities abroad and therefore one should go and look at those opportunities. Today, the humanity requires us. And that is why we have to understand that there are opportunities emerging globally, and how was that interplay? How is it happening? As our friend rightly mentioned, that today the world is moving at a very, very fast pace. The speed is lightening. How many of us lined up? I mean, when I say us, it's not you and me, but how many of us lined up for iPhone 16 other day? Each one of us has seen the launch, either live or later on, a recorded one, right? That is the speed. If the steam engine took almost 200 years to reach across the globe after the Industrial Revolution, the television took about 40 years to reach across the world. Mobile technology, about 10 years. Within 10 years, the mobile technology reached the world. And today, what is the speed? Fraction of a second. Fraction of a second. What we are speaking and what we are discussing here today, someone can watch, someone can see. That is the power of technology. You would probably be proud to hear and listen that Bombay Stock Exchange, which is the world's one of the biggest stock exchange today, is the fastest stock exchange in the world, and each transaction there happens at 1/6 of a microsecond. 1/6 of a microsecond is each transaction happening there. Today, what is the stock exchange? Currently, what is the Sensex? You are a B school student. What is the Sensex today? Where it stands? Around 80, right? And the prediction is that it will touch 100. That's the prediction. Now, 1/6 of a microsecond transaction, and look at the $3 trillion economy, which is hoping to reach $5 trillion very soon, and the Sensex touching another 25% going up. You understand? What's the size of opportunity? Every single entrepreneur like you and me today is looking at that. How many unicorns do we have? How many unicorns do we have in this country? Today, we have the maximum number of unicorns in this country, right? We are the fastest growing country when it comes to startups. Right? Why? Because we are inherently people who are into trade, commerce, business. As a student of history, when I read some of these books, I always question myself as to who on this earth started telling us that you are an agrarian economy. We were never was this country an agrarian economy. We were forced to become agrarian economy and produce for somebody else. Otherwise, we were producing only that much that we wanted and we needed, because we believed in sustainability. All these years, centuries, we believed in sustainability. So we were taking from Mother Earth only that much that we wanted and we needed. So we were never an agrarian economy. We have always been traders, businessmen, people with lots of entrepreneurship and skills, which the world never could even imagine. And we are now seeing the whole circle coming back. Right? So taking from his statement that the world is fast moving. It is moving fast, and it is also moving in multiple directions. Today in the world there are 68 conflict zones. 68 conflict zones in the world. and conflicts of all kinds. Economic crisis, climate change, identity crisis, wars, floods, natural calamities, human trafficking, migration, all kinds of challenges. And there are 68 such conflict zones. We have seen one single incidence of corona crippling down, bringing down the whole world. And here there are 68 conflict zones. And the world which is interdependent, any small incidence that is currently plaguing us, which is the Horn of Africa, and the Houthis have taken the entire supply chain of the world to ransom. And a small group of maybe few hundreds are causing huge challenge. Because there are so many and such non-state actors that have emerged all over the world. And why these emergence of non-state actors? Because the world order that emerged out of Second World War, which all of us typically call as United Nations, has unfortunately failed. Right? Today we don't see United Nations as effective as we all thought post Second World War. We have seen how United Nations failed in Vietnam, in Afghanistan, and now in Russia-Ukraine crisis. And also we are seeing what is happening currently in West Asia. So what has happened is that the global order has started collapsing because the model itself was authoritarian. They thought that everything will be decided by us, but the world does not agree to that. And slowly, from the United Nations structure to Cold War, to collapse of Cold War, collapse of USSR, and then now emergence of China, causing some new challenges, is what is today's world order. Or I would say a disorder. Because there doesn't seem to be an order. Anybody stands up and says, okay, this is my way. And that is what is happening. So first and foremost, we are seeing collapse of the so-called world order. And the world is struggling. Therefore, what is the next system of governance globally? We have seen the failure of United Nations in, as I said, in human rights implementation in China, Russia-Ukraine war, what is happening in Kazakhstan, what is happening in, as I said, in the with the pirates, what is happening in South America, what is happening in the oceans across the world. So this is what is currently observed. As a result of that, the dollar has collapsed. Today we have a challenge, which is the global currency. Because dollar is losing its relevance. Especially after this Russia-Ukraine war, we are seeing that dollar is no more a preferred currency for trade between some nations. Of course, China is trying to make their currency a global currency, but all of us know that there is a trust deficit when it comes to Chinese currency. We don't know what is behind the scene happening there, because it's not a transparent geography, it's not a transparent economy. So today there are challenges. We stood by this challenge as a nation, and during this Russia-Ukraine war, I think we've seen how strong we stood, how steadfast we remained, and we said we will look at our interest. As you look at your interest, we will also look at our interest. And in the process, we managed to get crude oil from Russia at a much cheaper rate, and that too paying them in rupee. The success story of UPI and RuPay credit cards is a testimony to what India can do and what we can deliver to the world. And this is where the world has started believing that yes, there is possibly a third alternative, because there is one option which the United States has been propagating all these years, and there is another option which probably the communist China is showing the world. But the world today is not comfortable, at least in parts, with both these options, and therefore they are looking for a third option, which is a middle path. And this is where we as a nation, as India, we fit in the entire scheme of things. And this is why we see lot of acceptance from the world to many things that we are doing. Not just the UPIs, recent is France is also accepted. France is also now saying that we will use UPI for transactions. The fact that we do not see our individual interest or a short-term gain in whatever we are proposing to the world has a big buying from the community, from the world community today. And of course, the size of the economy, the ability to scale it up, because there are many other nations also, like for example Germany, Brazil, which emerged on the global platform. But the problem is that they cannot scale up to the 7.5 billion population of the world, because they have their limitations. They do not have that strength, the capacity, the framework which India has. And that is why there is more and more acceptance and receptivity. Of course, our history also is a big, I would say, factor into it. Why do you think the world easily accepted yoga and Ayurveda? Again, because it has lived for centuries. So if there is any society, any civilization which has seen ups and downs and still managed to remain vibrant, not just floating, remained vibrant, it is this civilization. And when we talk about civilization, for God's sake, let's tell the world that it is not about religion. It is about civilization. And that civilization which flourished and which has shown the world the way lies between the Hindu Kush range of mountains to Malacca Strait on the east. If it is the Hindu Kush mountains on the west to Malacca Strait on the east. This is the region, this is the geography in the world map where you will find every single diversity. Every single diversity, every single climate pattern, every single flora and fauna that you will find elsewhere in the world. No other geography has that kind of diversity. So whatever experiments that we have done under this civilization, under this ethos, under this thought process, has every chance to succeed elsewhere in the world. And that is why when Indian youth goes abroad, it's not very difficult for him to adjust and adapt. Because there is some percentage of it already existing here. You talk about the deserts, we have them. You talk about the mountains, we have them. You talk about the tropical rainforest, we have. You talk about the snow-clad mountains, we have them. You talk about the peninsular region, we have it. So there is nothing that is not present here. So whatever experiments that we do, whatever that we have tried and successfully implemented here in this country, has every chance to succeed elsewhere. And that is the reason why BrahMos Aerospace today is able to sell missiles to the neighboring countries. Because BrahMos, the missiles are tested in the run of Kutch at the extreme heat with almost 52 degrees temperature to even the naval version of it, which is fired by our ships. So that's the range that we are talking about. So this is the reason why the world is today looking at India. And therefore their opportunities are there. I'm not talking to you about the opportunities that are there and for which Indian youth is today globally traveling. Other day I was on a flight to Tel Aviv and then I had about 50, 60 young boys going to Tel Aviv. They were going there for reconstruction activities. And when I landed up there, I asked them, how many of you are looking at? They said, we are looking at close to 1 lakh Indian laborers or workers who will come and work here in the reconstruction activity that is going on in Israel. You are here in this part of the country, Mangalore, which is very famous for people who are caregivers to the world. Caregivers to the world. The world today is aging and they are looking for such passionate, compassionate people around them who will take care of them. Caregivers, another category. The region where I work in the Northeast, there are tens and thousands of Northeasterns who are currently doing extremely well on the cruise ships. Royal Caribbean and Carnival Cruises, world's two biggest cruise liners, in their internal reports have said that the best performing crew on board our ships are the girls coming from Manipur. So this is where we are actually currently looking at opportunities. Every problem that we see, you may say, oh, where are those opportunities? We don't see them. We only see the problems. We only see the fights going on. We only see the political tussle that is going on. I think we have to get over that. As a nation and as a student of management and businesses, we need to find those opportunities. Other day I was talking to the engineers and I asked them, how do you see the opportunity emerging for you in Atal Amrut Mission? The scheme that the Government of India has launched for providing medical assistance and medical support to every single human being, every single citizen of the country. The first response was like, no, it is for the doctors and paramedicos, opportunities for them. But then I started asking them questions. You think those paramedicos and doctors will be able to perform surgeries and provide that service without you people? Who is going to produce those machines and equipments that are required for them? And we demonstrated that. A stage when we were importing those equipments during COVID, when the nation decided collectively that we are going to produce everything here domestically, and the technology was available with DRDO, within a matter of 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, we created the infrastructure across the country. Who did that? All of us did that. Engineers did that. Technicians did that. Small smith, the people who in the rural areas who are into foundry, forging, they did that. So opportunities are to be spotted like this. Gone are the days when the opportunities will walk to you. They will not. Let me tell you, the opportunities will not walk to you. And if you are looking at opportunities which are going to come your way, then I'm sorry. Then you are looking at an average life that you want to spend. If you want to be somebody different, then you will have to start identifying the opportunities that are there in each of these things. Each of these things. Dennis Waitley in his book Empires of the Mind has said that what worked yesterday will not work today. Right? And I will go on and add one more line to it. It is definitely not going to work tomorrow. What worked yesterday was the seniority. If you are 10 years in this institution, you become associate professor. If you are 15 years in this institution, you will become professor. Today that is not the case. Today it is the creativity. How you deliver the lecture, how you conduct your course, how will you make sure that your student understand what you want to teach and what you want to pass on to them. That is how the seniority, that is how the acknowledgement is now decided. And the result is seen. Everyone knows. I mean, the world was taken by surprise when Sundar Pichais of the world emerged and they were in their late 30s and became the global CEOs. But this country never had this problem. We always had such people who in their early 20s, early teens, gave the message to the humanity, whether it is Swami Vivekananda or Adi Shankaracharya. By the time they finished their stay on this earth, they had not even touched 40s. But they did something which is surviving even today. Again, this is nothing to do with religion. What Swami Vivekananda spoke and what Adi Shankaracharya spoke about was the humanity. The message for the humanity. And what we spoke at G20 recently, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, is actually telling the world that this is where we belong to. This is what is our philosophy. Why do you think nobody thought so far that the African nations, which are a huge continent, should be brought under G20? Nobody thought. Because none of those, let me be very honest and very blunt on this. None of those 19 countries thought beyond themselves. It was India who thought that those African nations also must be brought under G20 because they are an important part of this world polity. and we brought them under G20. So that's the thought process. That is the thought process. And this is the changing world order. It is the middle path that the world is today looking for. What are the challenges that we are looking at? I'll list some of those challenges because there lies the opportunity. Trade protection and fairness. Everybody is today talking about nearshoring, domestic production, making in our own country. This is a challenge because never in the history the world had that kind of arrangement. And it is impossible. Impossible. But so-called fanatisms, authoritarian leaders, mushrooming of them globally, they are saying that no, we will do everything by ourselves. That's a challenge to the world today. Climate change, another big challenge. Just last week I was in Kathmandu and we were discussing about climate change changing climate in Himalayas. I am sure you would have read somewhere that Himalayas is actually the balancing factor in the world. The two plates, the Indian plate and the Eurasian plate collapsed and then emerged Himalayas. But that happened because the earth needed balance. So if Himalayas and the snow-clad mountains of Himalayas, the glaciers start melting, the balance of the earth is in question. So it is not the problem of the 8 countries that are there in the Himalayan range, right from Hindu Kush to the eastern Himalayas. It is the problem of almost 2 billion population of the world. Because if the glaciers start melting, it will have its impact on Bangladesh. It will have its impact on Myanmar. It will have its impact on Singapore, Indonesia. We are already seeing what is the threat to Mauritius and Maldives. So climate change is another big challenge. Of course, along with that is the pollution. Because that is the root cause for climate change that we are seeing. Food and water scarcity. With the changing climate, the food patterns are changing. The agriculture patterns are changing. The rain patterns are changing. I was talking to the driver yesterday coming from airport and today morning also. You have seen abnormal rains in Mangalore also, right? This year. And the pattern is completely different. It is more of a flash rains. Right? It's more of a flash rains. And this is the pattern that we are seeing everywhere. There are more rains, but flash rains. And this is what the scientists are saying, that we will see this pattern and suddenly, at some stage, we will start seeing that there are no rains. That is the fear that the scientists are currently posing. That there will be a situation where this pattern will change and suddenly there will be no rain. So there will be water scarcity. Obviously, because of the changing rain pattern, the agricultural pattern is also changing. Although it is extending, I mean the period is extending, but it is going to be a different scenario. So food and water scarcity. People are also saying that the next war could be actually for water. That is the gravity of the problem that we are seeing. Cross-border terrorism, I don't think we need to speak on that. The whole world is today facing this challenge of cross-border terrorism. Displacement and increasing refugee flows. The entire Europe is currently grappling with this problem. There's so many migrants, refugees, helpless people moving from their country of origin to another country in search of livelihood, hoping that somebody will help them. This is a global pattern. So definitely, therefore, there is a new world order that is emerging. Now, let's come to what are the opportunities therefore. We have seen there's so much of it happening all over the world. So what is the opportunity? Opportunity is actually, as I said, be here. Honestly, I am telling you, there is opportunity in this country and global opportunities are diminishing. Because with 7% GDP growth year on year and this size of economy, population and market, there is nobody else in the world who can give you opportunities. Now you will ask me a question. It's good for you to say that there are no global opportunities because you are at the fag end of your life. We are looking at making our life, and therefore life in Delaware is definitely more interesting than in Mangalore. I'm using that name not because the Prime Minister and the President met there. Just it came to my mind. It could be even Milan. But you'll go and see the reality there. There are no opportunities. There are no ways that your creativity can be nurtured there. Go a little deep and understand what is the situation there and what is the opportunity here. Yes, there is material gain, definitely. There's a lot of money to make, but look at the life. You're not thinking about yourself, you're thinking about your next generation. Again, you will say, come on, we have not yet married, so where is the question of next generation? But that's the difference. That's the difference. Probably some of them are married or already couple, so they're looking at each other saying, oh, what? No, but that's the difference. That's the difference. The world today is suffering of this problem. No children, single children, nobody to take care. What do? All kinds of technological support, all kinds of social benefits are available. But how do we avail them? Who will make them available to us? These are challenges. And therefore, the problems at young age, health problems. At young age, psychological problems. At young age, we are seeing every day, practically we are seeing that there are firings in United States. We talk about possibly, again, we talk about firing in Jammu Kashmir or some firing somewhere else in the country, maybe a blast or some terrorist act in this country. But those are, let me be very clear, those are very, very defined and targeted attempts. But what is happening in those societies, whether it is the Europe or in America, where so-called, all the facilities of the world are available, why are firings happening at the schools? Why are firings happening in open malls? It's clear indication of the psychological problems that the society is facing. The human nature, as we all say that we are an animal who loves to live in community. And look at what is happening there. Just giving an example, One of my friend who's teacher in Atlanta, happened to meet him a couple of years ago. And he was narrating a story to me saying that I was teaching in a class, and then there used to be a particular student. Every day he would come to the class and sleep. Coming from our culture, he said, I tolerated for a few days or a month. And one day I asked him, why are you sleeping in my class? I see you sleeping every time I see you there. He said, I was shocked with his response and answer. He said, Professor, you have been hired by the institute to teach. You do your job, I will do my job. It's none of your business what I am doing. He said, I was shocked. And then I went deeper into it. He said, I went deeper into it and I actually asked him other day that, tell me what is the problem. I cannot digest this. There's something else which is bothering you. It's not between you and me. It is something else. And finally, I came to know that there's a fight going on at home. Father and mother are separating. The child is made to feed for himself. So he's working at McDonald's at night. So obviously when he comes home at 3 o'clock, he doesn't have the sleep. He comes to the class and then there he finds the sleep. Now this is the reality. This is the reality. So the opportunities are here. Opportunities are here because 1.4 billion population requires whole lot of support. And that is now happening. And each one of us is going to make it happen. That is the reason why we have more number of startups. That is the reason why we have more number of unicorns. Ecosystem is being developed. You are going to be the people who will develop that ecosystem. If there are some lacunas, today if the system does not allow you, you will make the change. And that is where the opportunity lies. And as I said, if you are looking at opportunity where you are allowed to come to office at 10 a.m. in the morning and leave at 5 p.m., forgetting about everything else that you do, I think that's not what you are supposed to be looking at. Today you have to look at opportunities which are beyond this. Today it is technology which is going to do everything. They don't need you. They need your brains. They need your brains to think out of the box. Therefore, the opportunities are in content industry. The opportunities are in supply chain industry. The opportunities are in fintech industry. The opportunities are in textile, handloom, food processing. I'm not going to number that, okay, there are 2 lakh opportunities in food processing. That's the job of a politician. Let them do that. I'm not going to do that. My job is to probably share with you where are the opportunities. Every single person and every single village of this country has a story to tell. I always have questioned this to my friends in entertainment industry. Which story is more powerful? The one that you show on Netflix or the one that we see here near close to Mangalore? Somebody from that village building the entire economy around that village, building livelihood for 50 people or 50 houses, or the boat building industry, the wooden boats, without using any metal or iron making the global voyages for centuries together. Is that the story? Or the one that you show, which is more of a fiction? So there is opportunity in content creation. 30% of countries' agri-produce goes waste today because either it is not processed, primary processing does not happen, or there is no storage facility available for them. Therefore, their pricing always has challenge. Can I make difference to them? Can I have something for them? How many of you have gone to the flower market in Mangalore? A place where generally in wholesale you sell the flowers. You have gone, right? If you go at 5 a.m., what is the price? Take any example. Higher. And if you go by 11, right? Why should it happen? Yes. Why? Because there is no facility for him. So can I create something for that? And it does not require a great technology. It does not require a great technology. Can we do that? You are a student of business management or administration, right? How many of you have done the study for demand and supply of your own college canteen? Demand supply analysis of your own college canteen. Have you done that? No, because you think my job is to look at profit and loss. My job is to look at strategy. Strategy comes here. Go and help him do the demand supply analysis. Go and help him do the time and motion study. This is all you learn, right? What Philip Kotler says in his book is actually to be implemented somewhere. That is where is the opportunity. How many of you, you are student of management again, these are the questions that I always ask to myself. How many of us actually go to the traffic department of Mangalore and tell them, we are going to take an assignment and give you a solution to the traffic problem of Mangalore? Did we do that? We don't do that. The opportunity lies here. You can come out with a good solution, build some technology around that, help them manage that, and you make money. This society has never ever said not to make money. All that we have said is make good money. Right? So can we do something on that? So the opportunity is here. So likewise, we have to identify. Can we use drone technology to build some business model? Can we do hub and spoke? For Mangalore district, let's do hub and spoke study for all the goods movement that is happening. How did VRL build its empire? They build it like this only. Right? They came up with an idea that, okay, we want to run our trucks only Mumbai to Bangalore on the highway. I'm not going to go into the interior parts of, districts adjoining this highway. So what they did, they created the hubs along the highway. And then 30-40 kilometer radius from that highway destination, a smaller vehicle brings the cargo and gives it to their consolidation center. Very simple idea. Successful entrepreneur today. Can we do something for that, about similar to that in Mangalore district? Slowly you will scale it up. So one has to identify opportunities like this. Government opened up defense sector for defense indigenization, right? They said we want more and more Indian entities to come in. Obviously, Tatas and Ambanis and Bharat Forge of the world entered the segment. And one day we were sitting, 2-3 of us, and we said, what is the opportunity for us? Initially we thought, who will get into that? Defense, very difficult, long gestation period, you need more investments, etc., etc. Then we did our SWOT analysis, as we all do in management, and realized that one of our weaknesses is that our children do not want to get into this because they are already into something else. They said, come on, we are not going into this business. That's none of our activity. So we had to look for something which was easy to shut down also. Should we decide that we want to close, we should be able to do that. So the parameters were fixed. Less investment, easy to close down. Make sure that your customer does not feel offended when you are winding up. Right? So these were some of the parameters that defined what should be the area that we should look at. And we realized that in every small equipment, in small machine or a big machine or a system, there are nuts, bolts, flanges, screws, right? They seem to be very, very insignificant. Very insignificant. The value is also very small, but they are required. Without that, the equipment cannot function. And we decided we'll get into this. Touch wood. I am sharing this not because I want to glorify myself. I am saying, how do you identify opportunities? Today we are doing 30 crores under that. If you ask me, what do I sell? I sell screw, flange, nuts, bolts. That's all. But then we do 30 crores annually. Now, immediately some of you will calculate EBITDA, etc., etc. But we thought we are contributing now. Because this is under Make in India, defense indigenization. If that 30 crores convert into foreign currency, at least that much foreign currency we are saving for the country. But that's a contribution. So we have to look into such things, and you have to look at what is it that we want to do. I am not saying that 10 to 5 job is bad. Please don't get me wrong. In this society, we need a mix of all of this. Some people have to do 10 to 5 job because only then that office will work where we go and do the business. But as a student of business administration, business management, we should be able to identify those areas. Nothing personal, but this is my view. After doing business administration and business management, why do people go and sell credit cards? Right? For that you don't need to do business management. It just requires some skills to sell the credit cards. Again, nothing personal. But this is how you have to start thinking about it. So opportunities are there across the country, investments in multiple sectors, agriculture, pharma, fresh fruits, retail, supply chain, medical, hospitality, tourism, big time, entertainment, content creation. All of this are the opportunities for us to look at. Size is huge. As I said, we are talking of at least, 140 billion is what is our domestic, 140 million is our domestic, but the neighboring countries, whether it is Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Maldives, and so many, they are all dependent on us. And they'll remain dependent on us. Even through this lookist policy, the Southeast Asia, whether it is Laos, Myanmar, then Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, they are also, if you ask me, they are actually our territory in terms of market potential, business potential. So when we are looking at creating something, when we are looking at doing something, we should look at something that can be implemented and executed there also. The other thing which I would recommend you all to avoid is cut paste. Don't do that. Because Swiggy is successful, let me enter and copy Swiggy and do the same thing. Honestly, I'm telling you, it will not work. It doesn't work. You have to have that value add. There has to be some differentiator. Only then it will succeed. Only then the market size will grow. None of us wanted iPhone, right? There was no market for iPhone. Samsung was doing very well. I'm not going into Nokia. Samsung was doing very well, right? It was a good product. And then suddenly enters iPhone. It's complete disruption of the industry. Today it is a totally different concept. Today value add becomes the priority. Because when you go to the shop today, although you are going there to buy a phone, presumably, we are actually not buying a phone. What we are buying is an equipment that can do possibly photography, that can do data transfer, and that can do many other things. It's not the phone. If that was the case, then Nokia would have survived. So it's value add. Price is no more a limiting factor today. It is the features, it is the value add which is more important. I'm sure when you go to the shop, you ask them, front camera pixel kitna hai? Back camera pixel kitna hai? Night photo kitna acha aata hai? Right? You do all this. You don't ask him whether isme phone dial hota hai ki nahi. Because that is given. Today that is not a consideration at all. टच पैड है कि नहीं वो भी नहीं देखते हम लोग आजकल, राइट? टुडे यू आस्क हिम क्विक कॉल 10 कर सकते हैं कि 20 कर सकते हैं? स्टोरेज कैपेसिटी एक्सटर्नल ऐड करना पड़ेगा या इंटरनल इनबिल्ट ज्यादा है, राइट? प्रोसेसर कौन सा है? सो दिस इज व्हाट इट इज. So I was telling you that please do not do copy paste. Cut paste, please don't do that. Think something different. And the God has given you that strength. Each one of us is different when it comes to thinking abilities. And that is what we are talking about when we are discussing new education policy, national education policy. Because each one of us is different. Why should we not allow students to think differently? Why should it be that each one of us gives the same examination and evaluated basis the numbers that we score? This is the question that we are asking today. And from this year onwards, we have started this in IIM Shillong. It's a 2-year postgraduate management program, flagship program, MBA. So this year, consciously, the board has taken a decision and allowed the academic council to tell the students that if you do not want to complete this course in 2 years and you want to take 1 year extra, we will allow you. Okay? So you can do that 2-year program, 2-year course in 3 years. Because as an institution, we are charging him the fees for 2 years, which is for completing the course. So we will not charge you extra for the academics. If you want to stay in the hostel, we will only charge you the hostel fees. But as a student, I want to learn a particular course, I want to learn a particular subject, not in 1 semester, but in 2 semesters. And after that, I want to give examination. Why are you stopping me? This is the question that we ask to ourselves. And because the National Education Policy Framework allowed us, we said, let's do it. Let's experiment that. Now, this is a different concept. A different concept. We do not know whether this will succeed or fail. But definitely we felt that there are no adverse effects. Because this is a postgraduate program. And the students who are passing out of this college, of this institution, of say IIM, get well placed and they are hired by the industry for their skills and not for their degree. So how does it affect? I mean, if the boy wants or the girl says that I want to do it in 3 years because I want to do some better understanding of a particular subject, why not? So we are also thinking one step further. So see, I'm sharing this not because I come from that institute. I'm sharing this as to how do you create opportunities. We are also thinking as to, can we go to a system where we tell the student that you will be evaluated purely basis your assignments. There are no examination papers that you will write. Purely on the basis of your assignments. Because what is management? It is evaluating the options available, right? Looking at resources that you have and do the best possible under the circumstances. I don't know whether you learn Porter's 5 forces model, etc., etc. Probably not because you are at undergraduate level. But this is what is management. What resources you have, what final output you want, how do you manage these resources efficiently and effectively so that you get the desired output? Now, if that is what is management, why should it be a very, very strict, stringent factor that you must finish this in 2 years? You do it whenever you want. That is allowed. Now, we are going to create opportunities through that for the institution, right? Because there is going to be more and more students who will probably take this program because this is a new concept. This is how we are looking at it. So, I am saying you will have to think differently. What worked yesterday will not work today and it will definitely not work tomorrow. So, think little bit out of the box. This is a phrase that you have heard many a times from many people. Think out of the box. But how do you think out of the box? This is the place where you should do that. Always, I tell my young brothers and sisters studying in academic institutions that this is a place where you should try and experiment. Because this is an environment where even if you fail, there is nothing to lose. And here there is an ecosystem which allows you to correct yourself. So try and experiment that here. Whatever you want to do, whatever theories that you want to apply, whatever modeling that you want to do, please try and do here. Because the cost of failure in the outside world is much bigger. If you fail there, it's difficult to come back. But if you fail here, there is an ecosystem which takes care of you. They will allow you to do the course correction. What we see when we are now sitting for the interviews across the table, what we want to see in you is whether you are willing to put that effort, whether you have that aptitude to learn. I don't want to see whether you have 70% or 80% marks. It doesn't really help me. Honestly, I'm telling you, it doesn't help me. What helps me is whether he is willing or she is ready to put that effort and think differently. Because if the academics is going to help me, AI is coming to my help now. I don't need a person. If that academic excellence is going to help me, I don't need a person, human being now. I need human being to think differently and deliver different. So that is where are the opportunities. Opportunities are there in politics also, mind you. Some of you will laugh, but this country needs good politicians. Because if 35-40% of this population is young, talented, educated, obviously they want to see some of them representing them in policy making so that the policies can be made accordingly. It's not talking about pressure politics. It's about representative politics. So there are opportunities there also. Government is creating opportunities for lateral entry into governance. Some of you can be part of the governance system also. It's not only through UPSC that you enter the government today. They are creating the opportunities for lateral entry as well. Academic institutions are creating opportunities for what is called as a professor of practice. You don't need to go through that process. So there are opportunities, there are multiple opportunities. Entrepreneurship of, endless sectors. Water sports to adventure sports. I know a gentleman who started a startup which is a photography startup, photography and video startup. Again, aggregator, but photography and video startup. And his photographs and pictures were recently displayed there at Times Square. So when you do, you have to think about something like that. Something which people will feel like, okay, yes, this is what I wanted to see. So there are opportunities in every segment. Every segment and at every level, let me tell you, opportunities are there at every level. Just start looking at those opportunities, and for that, you will need to read all these things. What is happening globally? What is happening in our neighborhood? How that is going to impact us? Where are the opportunities emerging? And then act accordingly. And these things which some of us unfortunately fail to do at the academic institutions is think about the live projects. You are a student of business management, right? And you studied financial management, probably in the first semester or second semester, right? How many of you actually discuss the financial performance of some of the corporates in the classroom? Every quarter there are financial performances that are announced, published in the newspaper. How many of you actually do that in the classroom? It doesn't take much time. Just a half an hour class, and then maybe 3-4 of you can come and give their impressions on financial performance of Mahindra and Mahindra for the quarter that ended in June or July. April, May, June. So July they would have given the performance, published the performance. Just give an observation. This is how you start building your opportunity. That way, I mean, just to take you a little further, that way, All India Radio, Mangalore will invite you a discussion on financial performance of 5 banks in Mangalore. Right? You start building your opportunity. They'll see that, okay, XYZ student or a person is an expert on banking industry, on finance. That is how you build the opportunities. That is how you create the opportunities. I think I'm not looking at watch, but I'm sure it is exceeded. Yeah, it's already exceeded. Sorry for that. I'll stop here. It looks little abrupt closure, but then that's how it is, because no matter how much I keep speaking, I'll still not be able to list out all the opportunities. All that I am repeating and I will emphasize is that enough opportunities are there. Globally as well as locally. Just think different. Build the habit of looking at opportunity in a small statement or an activity or an incident that you observe. You will be able to see an opportunity in it. That's how people started, the medical equipment banks, then so many other things that they started. Because they realized that here is the gap, here is the space, here is the opportunity. And that's how you will do it. I wish you all a great success. Hope to see some unicorn emerging out of this batch. And we'll all be proud of your success going forward. Thank you very much for your patient listening. Thank you.
So at the end of this presentation, I am from the humanities background. I am supposed to be teaching language, and that too supposed to be teaching English. After teaching for 34 years, I have a serious doubt whether I am doing that or beyond that. Professor Kulkarni, I thought I was very skeptical when I came here. What I have to take home from this, and listening to him with the rapt attention, I think it was almost like a Brahmanda Darshanam for me, because there was no area or any discipline that he did not touch upon. And we say that youth have a very limited, attention span, 5, 7, 8, maximum 14. And for 1 hour and a few minutes, without blinking our eyes, we have been looking at this person simply flowing out of his knowledge and experience, gave us a beautiful, colorful menu card of opportunities, and also beyond that, how to create opportunities for yourself. For this great, and the language was so simple. It was just flowing. It was not difficult for us to understand any concept that he spoke about. All of us understood every word that he spoke. And that is experience, and that is actually engaging in knowledge and with the students of caliber. Thank you so much for this great experience. Big round of applause to Professor Kulkarni. I personally felt that a lot of you, I will be disturbing you if I speak so much because already I can see a lot of ideas triggering in your imagination because he has opened up. And one thing is that his unbiased way of presentation. All of us are controlled by our ideologies most of the time, including teachers. We are controlled by various things. That is not none of our mistakes. But growing beyond that and giving a neutral kind of a option and opening up vistas to students to think without making any judgment. The entire world was actually laid bare in front of you, and it is your job to take it forward. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and you can always make some space after some time post lunch. If you have any very keen questions to ask and you need one answer, I am very sure he will not say no. You can always interact with him, catch him up some time during the day and ask your questions. Don't go without getting clarification or getting inspired by him. With these few words, I would like to thank Ms. Prima Tauro from the Department of Business Management and all the students of BBA. And I loved one of the things that he said is the girls from Manipur are the best professionals in the field of hospitality, the world-renowned cruises. And I'm very sure not even 50% of you will be getting into a career which is your core subject, BBA. I'm very sure about it. You can challenge me later. Where you are going to be after 5 years, none of you know, none of your parents know, none of your teachers know. Therefore, just think of these options. Anything that he has given to us beyond your disciplines, work at it and be proud of your BBA department always. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom. Gratitude, they say, is the most exquisite form of courtesy. To express our heartfelt thanks, I now invite Ms. Gowri to deliver the vote of thanks.
The roots of all goodness lie in the soil of appreciation. Good afternoon to all of you present here. On behalf of School of Business and Management, I wish to extend our heartfelt gratitude to all of you for joining us on this auspicious occasion for a talk on changing world orders and emerging opportunity. I would like to express our sincere appreciation to our esteemed chief guest, Professor Atul Chandrakant Kulkarni, Director Eurasia Special Technologies Private Limited, for graciously taking time to be with us and delivering an inspiring and thought-provoking address. Your words of wisdom and insightful remarks have not only enriched this event, but have also set the tone for our future endeavors. We deeply value your invaluable presence. As a token of gratitude and honor, I now request our Registrar, Dr. Alvin Dessa, to present a memento to the Chief Guest, Professor Atul Chandrakant Kulkarni. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank both our registers, Dr. Alvin Dessa and Dr. Ronald Nazrat, for their invaluable guidance and support. I would like to express my gratitude to the director of Arupe blog, Dr. Dennis Fernandez, who has always been a support of our initiatives and encouraging us to strive for excellence. I would also like to thank our Associate Dean, Dr. Mamta, in her absence, and Coordinator Ms. Prima Tauro, who took responsibility of this guest talk to be a success. And we are genuinely thankful for your unwavering support. Furthermore, I would like to thank all the students who have been involved in making this guest talk a resounding success. Finally, I extend my gratitude to each one of you, our esteemed audience, for being an integral part of this occasion. As we leave this session, let's carry the knowledge gained today and use it as a guiding light in our career endeavors. Remember, the world of human resource is vast, filled with endless possibilities, and each one of us has the potential to make a significant impact. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Kauri, for your thoughtful words. As we conclude this impactful session, let us remember that in every challenge lies the seed of opportunity. Thank you all for your presence and engagement. May we carry forward the lessons from today with purpose and clarity. Wishing you all a wonderful afternoon ahead.